Well, after nearly 10 years, I decided it was time to switch out my old desk for a standing desk. I chose to go with a standing desk to see if the benefits that were highlighted by many sites and videos were true. That and I was kind of fed up of being sat down all the time. I do software development and YouTube creation most of the time, so I am, or rather was, sat down most of the day. I had a look around and decided to go with the Maidesite, I think that's how it's pronounced, T2 Pro standing desk frame. The version I went for was the two-stage dual motor model in white. They also offer a three-stage variant, which is a little bit more expensive, with both models available in black, grey, and white finishes. The frame is very simple to assemble and can be used with nearly any desktop up to around 180 centimeters or roughly 6 foot. As for the desktop, I bought the Maidesite 140 by 70 by 2.5 centimeter desktop in white, as I need a new desktop anyway. It is available in other lengths and colours, but this one will do for my needs. I got both parts from Amazon, and I have links to both of them in the description below. A quick disclaimer, I pay for the parts myself, and this is not sponsored by anyone, so all the opinions in this video are my own. And as always, if you get value from this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing. With that being said, let's get started with the unboxing. Starting with the unboxing of the desk frame, it ships in a pretty unassuming brown box, which I've already opened just to make sure everything is in there. On the top, there's a declaration of conformity document that nobody ever reads. Next, there is a top piece of foam, followed by an instruction manual. I would suggest checking the parts list page as you go along just to make sure everything is present. With that out of the way, let's get to the parts in the box. First up, there's two plastic covers. Pop those to one side. Next, there are 4 support brackets to connect to the legs. These are used to go horizontally on each leg, 2 per leg. Then there are 2 additional support brackets that go on the end of each leg to support the desktop. Lastly, in this section, there are 2 extension bars that are used to connect both legs together. I'll just add that the foam packaging is very good. I had no damage to anything in the box. Moving on to the lower section, there is a pack of 4 casters supplied. I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting these in the box, so that's a nice added bonus. Next, there is a pack of screws and an Allen key for the frame. They even include some backup screws as well. After that, there is some cable management clips and a screwdriver. Then there is a plastic holder for the power supply to sit in. A power cable for the power supply. Two extension cables that can be used with the cables on each of the legs to connect to the controller. At the bottom of that collection, there is the controller for the desk. And in the last box, there is the power supply for the frame. After that, there are two bases, one for each leg of the frame. Finally, that just leaves the two legs. Each has a pre-installed motor with a cable to connect to the controller. And that's everything in the box. To summarize what was in the box, there is the user guide, it's not shown in this image, two plastic cover plates, a bag of screws, cable management clips and a screwdriver, 4 support brackets, 2 extension bars, 2 end supports, 1 controller, 4 casters, a plastic holder for the power supply for the desk, 2 leg power and control extension leads, 2 legs, and 2 bases for the legs. The desktop arrived in a brown box with a bit of damage to the box. Luckily, there was no damage to the desktop itself. In terms of what's in the box, there is the desktop, which is covered by some foam on top. Each corner has a sturdy corner protection piece, which is good to see. Other desks I've had in the past just use that polystyrene that falls apart when you look at it. There is some of that in the gaps between the corner pieces, which I would say is a bit of a letdown considering the material used in the packaging for the desk frame. Otherwise, that's all there is in the box. Oh, and yes, there is a pre-installed grommet on the desk. Now to put this pile of parts together. It's simple enough to put together, but I would suggest checking the manual for each step as there are different length screws used for each part. I started with the legs, mainly with the brackets and the end pieces first. A total of 6 screws were needed for each leg. It's easy enough to put together, and here is the result of one of the legs. Next up, I swapped out the pre-installed caps for the casters on the bases of the legs. Simply unscrew the caps and then screw in the casters into the same holes until they won't go any further. After that, just give them a bit of a tighten up with the supplied wrench until they're tight, and that basically is it for those. Once the bases are ready to go, install each to a leg with the 4 required screws, and that is that done. There is no difference here if you use the caps or the casters. After that, screw one of the legs to the desktop using the required screws. There are pre-drilled holes on the desktop for the frame that to attach to, but if you're using a different vendor's desktop, or your own for example, you can install the legs using the alternative screws supplied. Just check the manual to get the right screws. Finally, put the second leg into position but slide the horizontal extension bars in first. Screw it down, and that's it for installing the legs. Next, install the controller on the bottom of the desk. There are 2 pre-drilled holes on either side to install a controller. Next, place the power supply into the cradle. Install it into the space between the horizontal supports on the side where the controller is installed. Again, there are pre-drilled holes for this. Once that's done, plug the 4-pin power cable into the controller from the power supply and attach the power cord to the power supply. The last part for the controller is to connect the 2 legs to the controller. Plug the cable from the leg on the same side as the controller into one of the 6-pin sockets. For the other leg, attach one of the extension cables to the cable from the leg and then plug that into the controller. You can cable manage that along the horizontal bars. With all that done, the last thing to do is install the plastic covers. Each cover uses 6 screws, but be warned, each uses 2 different length screws, so check the manual. With the covers on, that is the desk all built. I did install a 6-way power strip underneath the desk. It was much easier to do it at this stage than doing it with the desk upright. And the absolute last thing to do, peel off the cover from the controller. Cable management on this desk is minimal in terms of what is supplied. Other than the cable management stick-on clips that was supplied with the desk, the only other option you have for cable management is to use the space in between the horizontal bars that connect the two legs. You can also hide any excess cables by resting them on the plastic trays, or even potentially put power supplies or external storage on those trays if they fit. I'm not going to be too critical about this, as I need to put some time into working out the best way to cable manage what I will be putting on or under the desk. If that's something you'd like to see, let me know in the comments and I'll do a video about it once I've got it done. Just a quick warning, there are flickering lights on this section of the video. This is not an issue with the controller, it's just the recording. A quick tour of the controller. You can see it has up and down buttons to adjust the height, 4 buttons numbered 1 to 4 to set up to 4 programmable heights, followed by a memory button to set the height to one of the numbers. When it's powered on for the first time, it will go into reset mode. The display will show flashing ASR message. This is normal, and to reset it, just hold the down arrow until the ASR message clears and it will change to a number. Usually I think it's 72. To set one of the buttons to a particular height, use the up and down arrows to set the desk to the height required. Once set, press the M button on the far right. Next, press one of the numbers on the panel. In my case, I'll press number 2, and the display will show S2. After a while, it will then go back to what the height is. And that's it. The other 3 buttons can then be set as needed the same way. Just above the number and memory buttons, there is an option to set an alarm. It can be set to go off after half an hour, 1 hour, or 2 hours. To set it, press the alarm button on the top right to enable the alarm. Next, press the alarm button to the left to set the time. Lastly, to turn off the alarm, press the alarm button on the right. The time will no longer be lit up. And that's all there is to the controller. It's a very simple unit and it's very easy to set up and use. In terms of charging, the USB-A port is capable of charging a phone, in my case an iPhone 11, headphones, in my case a pair of Sony WH-1000 XM4s, and powering a Raspberry Pi 3B. I haven't tried it with anything more power hungry, like an iPad for example, but even with the iPhone it only trickled charged at around 4.8 volts and 0.8 amps. So fast charge or quick charging is not an option with it. In terms of how much power the desk frame uses when it's adjusting the height, it will vary depending upon how much weight is on the desk. In my case, I have the desktop itself, a Dell ultra-wide 34-inch monitor, the specific numbers U3419W, a light bar, a Mac Studio M1 Max base model, a Logitech MX Master 3 mouse, a Logitech MX Keys keyboard, a desk pad, a power strip, and a fake plant. The total weight is around 35 kilos or 77.16 pounds. The only device that was plugged into the power strip at the time was the power adapter for the desk. For idle power, it measured between 0.6 watts and 1.1 watt at the wall. Moving the desk up to 114 centimeters or 44.8 inches, it uses roughly between 130 to 136 watts, but it could be more if it's the first time it's been used in a while. I measured a peak of around 177 watts on the day that I recorded the power meter when I first used it for the first time, but after that, 130 to 136 watts was typical usage. Finally, moving the desk down to 75.1 centimeters or 29.53 inches, it uses between 101 watts to 110 watts, so it's a little bit easier on the power draw to move it down. In terms of stability, when the desk is set at a low level, in my case 75.1 centimeters, there is next to no wobble at all. However, when it's up at around 114 centimeters, you can notice it wobble depth-wise if you are moving your hands around on the desk a lot. It's not a crazy amount, but you can feel it. As far as it wobbling from side to side, You will really need to go at it to notice any wobble at all. I was putting in quite a lot of effort to try and get that to move. This is mostly due to the legs having a cross brace on each of the corners to help reduce the movement. Overall, I would say it's a stable enough desk for people that aren't doing much movement outside of typing and moving a mouse. To get the noise level, I used an app on my phone called Neosh SLM to measure the noise level in decibels. It might not be the best app, but it seemed to be well reviewed in the App Store. The baseline ambient noise of the room I was in was around 30 to 33 decibels. In terms of noise, the desk is around 48 to 50 decibels when moving up. It stopped at around 114 centimeters, and roughly the same when moving down, which stopped at around 75.1 centimeters. And now here's an example of the desk going up and down. I was standing around a foot or 30 centimeters away from it when I recorded these. In the bottom right hand corner, there's the decibel meter that I used to show you what the decibel reading is. In terms of my overall thoughts on the desk, I'm happy enough with it. It fits my needs quite nicely, and it's not the noisiest desk I've seen or heard. The only real criticisms I have are the stability of the depth of the desk and the casters. When locked, the casters don't always keep the desk in place on my laminate floor. That isn't a difficult problem to sort out, but if you don't check it, the desk could go closer to the wall and cause any cables to rub against the wall and leave marks on it. However, though, in conclusion, I would give it a solid 7 out of 10. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.